Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We got a lot of questions from you about placebo-controlled studies, so today that's exactly what we're getting into.
Yeah, it's a great topic.
We want to really unpack what they are and, why they're just so essential for understanding medical research, medical treatments.
Absolutely. Think of it as the gold standard for testing if something new actually works.
So let's start right there.
Yeah.
What is a placebo-controlled study, in simple terms?
Okay, so in essence, you're comparing a group of people getting a new active treatment.
The real stuff.
Right, the real drug or procedure. And you compare them to another group that gets something inactive, a placebo. That might be a sugar pill, a saline injection, something that looks identical to the real treatment but has no active ingredient.
Okay, a sham treatment.
Okay.
But how is getting a placebo different from, say, just having a control group that gets absolutely nothing?
That's a really key distinction. When someone receives a placebo, they're still going through the motions, the ritual of being treated.
Like taking a pill every day or
Yeah.
visiting the clinic.
Exactly. And that act itself, that interaction and expectation, can have a psychological and even physical effect. A no treatment group doesn't get that. So comparing the active treatment to the placebo helps isolate the specific effect of the drug itself.
From the effect of just being treated in general.
Precisely.
Yeah.
It helps control for what we call the placebo effect.
Right, the famous placebo effect. We hear about it all the time. People feeling better even though they got the fake treatment. How does that even work? Is it just in their heads?
Well, it starts in the head, but it doesn't always end there. It's fascinating, actually. Our beliefs, our expectations about a treatment can genuinely trigger measurable physiological changes in the body.
Like what?
Think about pain, for instance. Studies consistently show people reporting significant pain relief after taking a placebo pill simply because they expected it to work. Their brain can actually release endogenous opioids, its own natural painkillers. Yeah, and conditions like mild depression, anxiety, irritable bowel syndrome, these often show quite strong placebo responses. The mind-body connection is incredibly powerful.
That really is wild. So given that power, how do researchers make sure they're not being fooled by it? You hear about double-blind studies. What's the deal there?
Right, double-blinding is crucial for minimizing bias. In a double-blind study, neither the participants nor the researchers interacting with them know who is getting the active treatment and who is getting the placebo.
So the doctor handing out the pills doesn't know either.
Correct. This prevents expectations on both sides from influencing the results. Participants won't subconsciously report feeling better just because they think they got the real drug, and researchers won't unconsciously, assess symptoms differently based on which group a patient is in.
Keeps everyone honest, basically.
Or rather, objective. It removes subjective bias as much as possible.
Okay. Now, we've talked about the placebo effect, positive expectation. But there's a dark side too, isn't there? The nocebo effect.
Exactly. The nocebo effect is the flip side. It's when negative expectations lead to negative outcomes.
So if you expect side effects,
You're more likely to experience them, even if you're taking the placebo. If a doctor mentions a possible side effect, like, say, nausea, some people in the placebo group might actually start feeling nauseous simply because it was suggested.
so expectation cuts both ways, positive and negative.
Definitely. It highlights how powerful suggestion and belief can be.
So with all this going on, the real drug effect, the placebo effect, maybe even some nocebo effect,
Yeah.
how do scientists actually separate it all out? How do they know the drug itself is working?
Well, that's where the comparison comes in. They look at the results from the active treatment group and compare them directly to the results from the placebo group.
And they're looking for a difference.
A statistically significant difference. They need to see that the improvement or the effect in the group getting the real treatment is substantially greater than any improvement seen in the placebo group.
So if both groups get, say, 30% better, the drug isn't doing much beyond placebo.
Essentially, yes. But if the placebo group improves by 30% and the active treatment group improves by maybe 60%, then you have evidence that the drug itself has a specific additional benefit.
Okay, that makes sense. It really feels like this whole area just underlines how deeply connected our minds and bodies are.
It absolutely does. The placebo effect and the nocebo effect, too, are really potent reminders that our psychology, our beliefs, expectations, emotions isn't separate from our physiology. They interact constantly.
It suggests our thoughts can have tangible effects on our health.
Tangible, measurable effects. It opens up fascinating questions about healing, perception, and the potential role of psychological factors in managing illness. Researchers also work hard, by the way, to ensure the placebos are valid, that they truly are inert and indistinguishable from the real treatment, to make the comparison fair.
Right, can't have a sugar pill that tastes different.
Exactly. Control is key.
So, wrapping this up, what's the main takeaway for someone trying to understand medical news or treatment claims?
I think the main thing is that understanding placebo controls helps you critically evaluate evidence. When you hear about a new treatment, ask, was it tested against a placebo? How much better was it than the placebo? It helps you appreciate the complexity behind whether a treatment truly works.
And it highlights that feeling better isn't always just about the chemical and the pill. Expectation matters a lot.
A huge amount.
Which leads to a really interesting thought to leave you with. If our beliefs and expectations can measurably impact our physical health through mechanisms like the placebo effect, what other, perhaps more subtle mental or emotional states might be influencing our well-being in ways we don't even fully recognize yet? Something to definitely think about.